Hey, it's Lynn here. Today will be my first time properly attempting this anime journal thing. It seems to be a popular thing that people do, and I thought I'd give it a go. To be honest, I don't exactly know how it's done, but I'm just going to give it a try. I'm honestly really good at journaling, but I've never anime journaled before, so this is new for me. If you'd rather just watch the process and ignore me talking, feel free to mute this video and just play your favorite music in the background. And if you'd like to listen to what I have to say, then just know that I'll be discussing things from the final season of Shingeki no Kyojin, episode 8. So, I said this last week. The only way I can like a character now is if she listens to Reiner's story and decides to side with Eren. Otherwise, this girl better butt the fuck out. Well, there's no way that still stands for me. Not after what she did. And there's really no excuses for Guppy's character. The term brainwash can only cover so much. And there comes a point where that term is no longer large enough to cover everything. Let's be honest. The Mali warriors didn't do that much to brainwash the Eldians. It's really nothing compared to what Fritz did to his people. And yet Eren and the others were able to uncover the truth, even if it was through the help of Eren's dad. By the way, if you want to talk about brainwashing, Mother Gothel brainwashed Rapunzel to think that all other humans were bad. And yet, Rapunzel had the intelligence and the common sense to severely question that. Even though she was held captive in a tower for all her life, she could still discern what was right from wrong. Frollo brainwashed Quasimodo into thinking that his mother abandoned him and that Frollo was his savior. And even though Quasimodo was hated by almost every single person and had the most horrible things done and said to him, Quasimodo still had the heart and the compassion to see what was right and what was wrong. He was able to see that Frollo was a monster, even though he had every reason to be angry at every single person who had wronged him, which kinda includes these two. He did not. He got over his anger, and he was able to discern what was right and what was wrong. Do you see where I'm going with this? And no, Gabi being some 13-year-old does not excuse her actions. There comes a point where it's honestly just her personality and her character. She saw how Titans were being tossed out of a plane. She saw how Titans were being released upon foreign enemies by the Mali warriors, and that girl didn't bat an eye. In fact, she relished in the destruction of other human beings, and there is no way that her fighting for the Malis would ever prove to them that Eldians were not devils. It's wishful thinking on her part, and it just shows how she's purposely turning a blind eye just to climb up in the rankings. She doesn't blame the Malis for anything. Instead, she would gladly turn on an Eldian any day. Gabi is selfish. Gabi is a monster, and the fact that she was able to murder Sasha like that and then immediately get ready to fire another shot at John speaks volumes about her. Eren is one of the most impulsive, reckless, and frankly stupidest main characters that I know of, and yet he knows how to think, even if it's just a little. Let's put him in Gabi's shoes for just a second. If an enemy were to shoot at Mali guards and yet spare his life, he would have thought about that. That would have stuck out to him. He would have contemplated why that was, and he would wonder what it was that the enemy knew, because he would know that there was a reason behind those actions. He would wait, and he would see. Remember, Eren is so completely reckless and impulsive, and yet he would have been smart enough, nay, possess enough common sense to at least realize just that. Also, the fact that Gabi shot Sasha and the Survey Corps soldiers immediately resorted to their fists instead of their guns speaks volumes about the so-called Devils of Paradis. Yet, even though Gabi was there, her life once again spared, being held by her hair and her face covered in her own unworthy blood. She was so unbelievably and hopelessly daft that she didn't realize that she was the scum in this situation. She had just murdered 2 of their soldiers and attempted to do the same to John. And yet, they spared her life once more and only punched her a couple times. Yet, she still wanted to kill them. Who's the bad guy here? She's not a kid. It is her character, and she's impossible. She wishes for bloodshed, and her reasons behind it can't even hold a candle to the fire that was ignited in Eren when he was a child. Gabi never witnessed the death of a parent. She didn't watch her mother get eaten alive in front of her. There is no cause for her hatred of foreign enemies or the devils from Paradis. Everything she does is uncalled for, and I seriously worry for the people who have been able to excuse her actions. The fact that Gabi lacks the curiosity and imagination and just the general brain capacity to think and to wonder about, maybe to even contemplate and just play with the idea that perhaps the reason behind why the Marleys hate the Eldians is just because the Marleys are simply racist pigs is mind-boggling. It really is. I don't care if she was fed the idea that Eldians were the devil spawn or whatever the heck kind of garbage the Marleys concocted up. I really don't. But oh my goodness, the fact that this vicious girl just completely ate that shit up and has fueled it with her own unwarranted hatred is so completely beyond my comprehension. It's honestly infuriating for me to think about. It's inexcusable. Reiner is her cousin, and the fact that she is so close to him and yet never noticed how completely broken he's become is insanely enraging. It's outrageous. The fact that Gabi can be so willfully blind to everything that points to Marley's unadulterated racism is fucking insane. You know what? I hope that her daftness continues. I hope that she gets angry at the fact that Zeke so-called betrayed Marley. I really do. I want to see how far her stupidity, and honestly at this point, her racism, stretches out to. I really do. And from here, I'll stop talking about Gabi, because this video isn't about her. It's about the angel that she brutally murdered. My lovely potato girl, Sasha. I don't know if you can read what I'm writing down in this digital anime journal, so I'm going to talk about her from the very beginning. As soon as Sasha's character opened her mouth, I freaked out because I knew that voice. It's such a recognizable voice, and I was able to pin it to Misaki's friend. From there, Sasha won my heart even further when she got yelled at for stealing a boiled potato, and for doing it justice by eating it while it was still hot, and the sheer commitment to doing right by that potato. Who else would have just so readily and fearlessly eaten a potato in front of the most frightening commanding officers? However, at that time, apart from the fart jokes and the food-first mentality she had, Sasha didn't really break the mold as a side character for me. But then again, who could fault that when Season 1 was just so completely focused on protecting Eren and defeating the female Titan? It wasn't until Season 2 that I just completely fell in love with Sasha. Season 2, Episode 2, was a huge turning point for me. I still vividly remember the first time I'd watched that episode. I had just waited for 4 years for the return of the Shingeki no Kyojin anime, and I was so completely on edge for that whole episode. Though I guess that statement could apply for any one of the episodes from that series. But this episode had me rooting so hard for Sasha, and I developed a newfound respect for her. This was her episode. We got to learn so much more about her, and Sasha got the character development that leveled her up from just being the potato girl. Because Sasha is more than that. She's so much more. That episode showed her growth. It showed her backstory. It showed why she had joined the Scouts. And it made us all fall so much in love with her. And now that I think back to this episode, I can't stop thinking about how heartbroken Sasha's father would be from her death. He didn't deserve to lose his only child. Not like that. Not at the hands of some devil spawn. Now let's talk about Coney and Sasha. I had honestly never really given much thought to the coupling of these two until after Season 4, Episode 8. To me, they were just a great pair of idiots. They both couldn't kill their designated titans in the supply room. They both needed to be saved by these two queens. Coney is the unofficial Sasha wrangler around me, and even then, he can't do his job properly. And while I was working on this digital anime journal spread for Sasha, I thought about it. I thought about the wasted potential and what could have been. After the war, Sasha and Coney could have gotten married or just start dating. Sasha could have shared her dad with Coney, and she could have been Coney's new family. Heck, she could have given Coney a new family. Sasha would have been the silliest mother, but honestly, after seeing her in Season 4, she might have been strict enough to be a mother. Coney would learn to cook for Sasha. Maybe he even already knows how to cook, since he's the eldest son. But now he would have the time to actually cook for Sasha. Sasha would have been introduced to all kinds of foods that the world had to offer. It wouldn't just be bread and potatoes. I think she would have rather liked trying rice and everything else, and it frustrates me that Gabi has been around for so little time, and yet she's already had her epic food feast moment, and she used all of Reiner's money to experience that. Where was Sasha's big food feast moment? Where was everything that Sasha deserved? The bottom line is, Sasha did not deserve to die at the hands of Gabi, and I can't stop thinking about how sad this is for everyone. Everyone loved Sasha. Everyone. Even Armin had moments with her. Armin is always observant, and I remember how he was the only one who caught her stealing bread. Sasha didn't deserve to die at the hands of a little girl, when her character growth involved her putting everything on the line for a little girl. We can't forget how Sasha stabbed a titan in the eye, and then broke its jaw to escape. And even after Sasha spared Gabi's life, Gabi made it her life's mission to just spit on the words that Sasha's father said. He had told Sasha that the world is filled with people and that they need one another to survive. Everyone needs to help one another, and if you do that, people will be there to help you. Sasha spared Gabi's life. Sasha made sure that that kid could live and be the future. And Gabi not only didn't help Sasha, but she wouldn't even let Sasha live. Gabi is the reason why Sasha never got to have her last meal, and I don't think I can ever look past that. Well, it looks like I'm done with this spread that's dedicated to the wonder that is Sasha Browse. If you'd like to see the full spread, I'll be sure to make it available online. The link to it will be in the description box below. I went through a lot of feelings while making this spread, and even though this turned out to be a Gabi's a terrible person kind of rant, it was mainly to just show my appreciation for Sasha as a character. Anyway, if you'd like to see future spreads, it'd be really nice if you could subscribe, maybe leave a like, and if you're feeling extra wild, maybe leave a comment below about what Sasha meant to you guys.